Greetings YouTube and welcome to the Blue Corner, and in this video I'm going to be doing a Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile on what I played this past weekend at the Regionals in Winnipeg and got third place with, which allowed me to get not only this playmat but this deck box, and I did it with Danger Thunder Dragon Guard Dragon featuring Omni Dragon Brotar. So going into this event, I basically had about 3 choices. I could either play this, I could play a Pendulum variant such as Zephyra or Endymion, or I could play Orcust, because if I have a Danger deck then I can obviously play Danger Orcust. But I told myself if I did not play Thunder Dragons at a Regionals in this capacity, with Saryuja still at 2, that I would regret it, because this is one of the few times where a Thunder deck is actually competitively viable in Yu-Gi-Oh! You guys know how much I love the Lightning. It's not like as if in Vanguard Narukami is my main deck or anything. No, totally not that. But yeah, I decided to go with this deck, and I decided to go with the Danger variation over the Pure variant, because I felt like even though Mystic Mine is an awful matchup for this deck, I'd rather still play the deck, the build of the deck that has the highest ceiling and has the best matchups against the other decks, than opposed to playing a version that has worse matchups against everything else, but a slightly better matchup against the Danger variation's worst matchup. Because I feel like Pure Thunder Dragon just does not play that well into Salamangreat or Orcust. Admittedly, Salamangreat right now is a bit more weak to Colossus because they're playing Sign Up Mining and Circle. But Orcust, I don't think they give two shits about this thing, and I'm sure they can break a board with this in Titan. So I decided to just go with the second build of the deck, and truth be told, it's also the variation of the deck that I'm just the most experienced with. I haven't really played Pure Thunder Dragon that much. I just find this version of the deck to just be able to do more. Furthermore, even though this is the 4th best deck in the format and the inferior combo deck compared to Orcust, because Orcust only requires 2 cards for its combos, whereas this requires more specific cards, this deck has the best end boards of the decks in the format, in my opinion, as if you go off and you make your ideal board, you get multiple Colossus, 2 negations, a bounce, and you have the ability to float into a card that says no extra deck summons. So, that being said, let's get into the actual deck. So I played, as far as the Thunder Dragon package goes, 3 original, 2 Dark, 2 Hawk, 2 Roar, and 1 Duo. Pretty standard. I think the only thing I might change in the future is how many Hawks or Roars I play, but right now I'm liking the 2 and 2. Then for the normal summons, 3 Solar, and 1 Armageddon Knight to act as a 4th Solar, since it can dump things like Dragon Roar, and I can also dump Destrudo if I have a Wyver Burst on my hand and do a partial combo. Then for the Dangers, I played the 10 good ones, so 3 Nessie, 3 Snake, 3 Jackalope, and 1 Bigfoot to summon off the Jackalope or add with the Nessie. Bigfoot being a level 8 is useful for making my rank 8 plays, and his pop effect came up a couple times. Yeah, not much I can really say about this. I cut Mothman because I just didn't like the fact to give my opponent draws to help either draw into hand traps to stop me from comboing, or draw into their cards to break my boards. And then for the Dragons, I played 3 Levianeer. I used all 3 of his effects throughout the weekend. Like, I almost never really used his effect to summon a monster out of the graveyard, but it was only until, just the last 2 rounds of the tournament that I actually used his effect to bring back, say, this guy and go into a rank 8. So, this card is so flexible and so very good. This is, low-key a card that if they hit on the ban list would actually hurt this deck quite a bit. Not going to lie. Then I played the Diabolos as my other Eclipse Wyvern target, and then I also decided to play a copy of Phantasmal Dragon Phantasme, since I can search it off of Eclipse Wyvern or Brotar, depending on how I structure my combo. And Phantasme, for those of you who may not know what he does, is when a Link monster is special summoned to your opponent's side of the field, you can special summon them out of the hand. If you do, you draw cards equal to the number of Link monsters they control, plus 1, so usually it's going to be 2 cards. Then you shuffle back cards from your hand into the deck for every Link monster your opponent controls. So it filters, it puts a body on the board, it helps you draw into your sided cards such as Lancius, and his other effect is if he is on the field once per turn, when your opponent activates a card effect that would target a monster you control, you can discard a card from your hand to negate and kill it. And seeing as you've got a lot of good discards such as Dangers or some of your Thunder Dragons, this is kind of useful. I decided not to play 3 in the main because, admittedly speaking, he doesn't really do a whole lot going first, and he's only good against decks that Link Spam, such as Salamangreat, Striker, and Orcust, but against some other decks he just doesn't do a whole lot, say against Altergeist or any back row deck. So I just went with the 1 inside of the other 2 copies, and then I decided to play the Amorphage package where you summon this thing off of your spheres to lock your opponent on the extra deck. Admittedly, this should be a Sloth, and I will swap this out for it, but much like Sloth, Goliath says if it's in play, neither player can special summon monsters from the extra deck except for Morphage monsters, which, unless you have Titanic Galaxy out, your opponent can't out this through battle phase, but they're still more or less skipping their battle phase just so they can combo main phase 2, and I do play a card that can summon itself when they kill this thing, and then help me fetch a Phantasme for when they try and combo. But yeah, being able to lock your opponent out of the extra deck is pretty good, and the reason why you'd play Sloth over this is that Sloth is a 1 tribute versus this being a 2 tribute in case you draw your Morphage and have to just tribute summon it to lock your opponent out. And Sloth, even with its 2250 attack, is still bigger than most things that Salamangreat and Orcust are able to summon without the use of their extra deck. On a side note, you can, it's really janky to do this, but you can in fact put this in scale against your Mystic Mind player if they give you Ojama tokens, and use his effect in standby phase to tribute a monster from your field or your hand, or otherwise destroy itself, in order to out the Ojama tokens and clear your board up so that their Mystic Mind self-destructs. This Big Brain plan of mine, though, loses to Unending Nightmare and Dark Bribes, but it's just a thought. So then I've got 1 copy of Destrudo to send off of Armageddon Titan to help extend, Eclipse Weapon to summon off of LP, Deep Fried Dragon as a starter and extender. What he does is you can send another monster from your hand to the graveyard to special summon him, and you can also special summon him from your graveyard by banishing 3 monsters with the same name. He is useful for getting Thunder Dragons that are clogging your hand into the graveyard and setting up your graveyard to be banished off of Wyver Burst or your Legionnaires. And since he's a level 4 or lower dragon, you can make Guard Dragons with him. So, yeah, just the one's enough. I tried playing 2 in the past and I found them clunky. And then my other small dragon is Omni Dragon Brotar. This is mainly summoned off of the effects of your Guard Dragons, and so usually if you draw him in your hand. And he has 2 effects that are very good. The first one is if he is in your hand or your graveyard when your monster is killed by your opponent either by battle or by card effect, he special summons himself to the field. And he's worded like Diabolus in that if you draw into him or search him off a card effect and the monster you control is killed at the same time, so say you draw him off of your Saryuja's effect, then he'll still special summon himself onto the field. So just remember that. And when he is special summoned, you can target any face-up monster on the field. Then you discard a card to add a monster with the same type and attribute as the targeted monster, except him, but with a different name. And what you can do, more often than not, I found myself doing, is you target himself, and you can add Legionnaire since this is a Dark Dragon. This is a Dark Dragon. You can also add Diabolos, and you can also add Phantasme as your main targets. You can also do cheeky things like you can add, you can target Saryuja, and you can add Goliath or Sloth, and you can target himself and add Wyver Burstar. You can also target your Thunder Dragon Colossus and add a copy of Thunder Dragon Duo. If you've already got these guys in circulation, you can target Thunder Dragon and add Thunder Dragon Hawk. Like, there's a lot of neat little things you can do with this guy that I feel like could be what helps keep this deck relevant in the format, because this deck is losing its stock, but I think Brotar can keep it in there. And the fact that he summons this off of your monsters being killed by battle is also low-key really good, because if they clear your Morphage, then this guy will come out, and then you can target himself, and you can either add Phantasme, or you can add Legionnaire to deal with your board, your opponent's board. It just comes a matter of, do you want this to come down when they're trying to combo, or do you just want to add the Legionnaire and just blow up your opponent's board going in afterwards? So I feel like basically if you're playing any deck that runs the Guard Dragon package, you really need to consider playing one of these, and Thunder Dragon can especially use this guy. And then rounding out the dragons, I just played 3 Wyver Burstar and 2 Collapse Servant. I might cut this to 1, I don't know, I want to try it first. And then 3 copies of Sekka's Light because Pot of Greed, and it allows me to potentially fix my hand by shuffling back in some of my bricks, or even you can just ditch this, add 2, use this, then use this to shuffle one of these guys back in, then ditch the one you have in hand, add the other one. You've got 2 lights in the graveyard already, which is useful for setting up your Legionnaire. So just little things like that. Sekka's Light's a really cool card, and I think this is one of the decks out there that can really abuse it. Then for the extra deck, I played 2 copies of Thunder Dragon Colossus. As much as I wanted to play a third, I had to cut that one in order to make room for a second rank 8. As in addition to playing Titanic Galaxy, I also played number 68 Sandophon, the Sky Prison. So Titanic Galaxy is now your rank 8 of choice, as he is able to negate the activation of spells and the effects of activated spells, such as an already in place multi-roll or area 0, and suck them out of his material. And he can detach material to redirect attacks from another monster, or just another attack actually, just any attack towards him instead. And because it's any attack, you can do cheeky things like protect your spheres target, such as your Amorphage and make the monster swing into this guy. But you can also redirect Hayate direct swings into this instead, because it's any attack, which makes the Sky Striker take about 1500 damage, which is an oof. And yeah, it's just little neat things about that I like. And like, he got in there, like he protected my Goliath, and he was able to just help shut down the Sky Striker matchup in addition to this guy. And then I played Sandafon the Sky Prison as my second rank 8. Sandafon's got a more limited scope compared to this guy, but he has the ability to shut off graveyard effects during your opponent's turn, which against a deck like Orcust, which plays monsters out of the graveyard, and to some extent Salamangreat, he can be just brutal because it cuts off access from Spinny, and most notably it cuts off access to Danger Tsuchinoko and Orca Symbol Skeleton, which is a big part of their combo. He also has the ability to gain 100 attack and defense for every monster in both graveyards, and since I'm playing a danger deck, that means I have a lot of monsters. And when you detach and use his effect to turn off the ability to special summon monsters from the graveyard until the end of your opponent's next turn, he also cannot be popped by effects, which is useful against things like, I don't know, Rage. So if they set Rage, I don't know. I'm trying to think how your Orcust and Salamangreat opponents could blow this up on their turn, but yeah, it's a solid rank 8, and every time I went up against Orcust, I did summon this thing, and I want to believe that helped me get there, but I was also able to resolve my combo and get to the point where I was able to drop a rank 8, so who knows if it was really so much a Sandafon that helped me win against Orcust, or it was the fact that I was able to just get full combo off against them. So there's that, and then I was playing Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss as my Agrippine target. As much as I want to play Crystal Wing isn't unable to stop spells, or particularly trap cards, and I felt like stopping those things would be more useful than just the Crystal Wing negate anything, as this guy can only negate spells, and this guy can at least negate traps, and I wanted to have some form of ability to negate trap cards, such as evenly matched that my opponent's sided against me without Zombie Stein. This guy's like the only one that is able to really do that, and he's also able to negate things such as Metaverse or Trap Trick, so I get at least 2 forms of interaction against my Mystic Mine opponents if I happen to at least win the die roll and resolve my combo, and that's pretty much the extent of what I can really do against that deck pre-side. Yeah, he's also a big beater, so not much else I can really say about that. Like, these are, with the exception of Sandafon, I think these are pretty straightforward. And then for the Link Monsters, 2 copies of this broken shit that should be at 1 utility Link Monster, another utility Link Monster, they both came up. 1 Triple Burst Dragon as part of the Guard Dragon package. Triple Burst is right now the only real generic Dragon Link 3 that you can make that has like generic conditions. Like, it's just any 2 plus monsters except tokens. So ideally what you do is you use this Beat Cop as well as any other monster to make this, and then you have a zone that your Guard Dragon monsters are pointing to, and then you can just do stuff. But his effects actually did come up, at least against Striker, because during the battle phase, during the damage step, you can negate the activation of a spell, trap, or monster effect, and then he can also inflict piercing damage and do some other thing that you almost never do with this guy. But most importantly, you can beat over a Sky Striker Link monster and negate the ray that comes out, which did come up. Beat Cop, I played in here as a generic Link 2 with the arrow pointing this way and this way, and it's an effect monster, so you can use it to make a Boral Load. However, I actually am not playing Boral Load, so this probably should have been a Lamphorhynchus, but it does have another effect where you can, if you use 2 dark monsters to make it, you can tribute a monster to put counters on something. The counters don't really matter, it's just a matter of you contribute a dark monster and trigger deal bolts, but more often than not though, this probably should have been a Lamphorhynchus because this could be Widow Anchored, whereas Lamphorhynchus cannot. It's just a matter of if you're playing a Boral Load or not in your extra deck. And then for the remaining Guard Dragon package, Spheres, Agrippine, Pisty, and LP. So these 2 I've talked about before, they're broken and should be hit. And as far as the other guys go, what they do is that this can summon any dragon that is in your graveyard or banished, and this, once per turn, during your opponent's turn, contribute any monster you control or in your hand while it's in the extra monster zone to bounce a face-up card in the field back to the hand. And furthermore, if this card gets tributed, you can special summon 1 dragon-type monster from your hand or deck, but their attack and defense becomes 0, and that's a hard once per turn on that effect. So, since it's just a generic Link 2 that only, okay, it's a Link 2 with the good arrows that takes any 2 dragons in order to make. So if you're able to get your full combo off, you usually take your Saryuja and another dragon and link into this instead, and then you get the ability to have multiple Colossi, a negation, another negation, and a bounce that summons a Morphage monster out of the deck, so your opponent can't summon monsters from their extra deck. And the fact that summons out of hand too is also pretty neat. You can also do cheeky things like if you still have your normal summon from the turn, you can actually tribute over this monster to summon your Thunder Dragon, summon Diabolos out of your deck, or summon your Brotar, which searches Diabolos, and then you can tribute your Thunder Dragon to make Colossus, and then your Diabolos comes down, and you can like tribute the Brotar and knock a card out of their hand and then go into a rank 8 or something. So neat little things like that for this deck just makes it so fun. And then for the extra deck, for the side deck, I played 2 copies of Dinosaurus and Pekatops who can out cards. Like, it's just a really good side card, and I'd play 3 if I could. 2 more copies of Phantasme, 3 copies of Lancia. Lancia is just really good right now. It's good for the mirror, it's good for Orcust. 3 copies of Twin Twister, and 3 copies of Denko Sekka for back row decks, because I did not want to lose to mine if I could help it. And finally, 2 copies of Forbidden Chalice as something I could use to hit things that my opponent plays on my turn, such as Abyss Dweller and any Orcust Thingerisus that they summon out of their graveyard during your turn. Although, admittedly speaking, this should have been also DD Crow, which can be used to hit Salamagrate Spinny, Jack Jaguar, or their, whatchamacallit, the other one, the other level 4 that they play. And you can also hit the Thingerisu that Orcust players summon with DD Crow. Although, we did have stun decks present at the forum in the regional, so, admittedly speaking, this could be used to stop things like Fossil Diner and Spectre Border. So, yeah, there's that. And as far as, like, the actual tournament itself goes, round 1, I played against Salamangreat. I won that one 2-0 because he went first game 1 but didn't have full combo, so he had no back row, and he made me go second game 2, and I resolved my combo, and he had no hand traps or Super Poly or Kaijus, so I won that one. Round 2, I played against Mega Monkey, who was playing Orcust, and I won the die roll, did my combo with Standophon, and won that one. Game 2, he has combo. I have Phantasme, but I don't draw anything good off of Phantasme, so he's able to just out my Phantasme, and I can't power through his board. And in Game 3, I've got combo, but he's got Lancia, so I lose. Round 3, I played against Mystic Mine Burn. It was based off of the one that topped the San Jose Regionals. In fact, all the Mine players present were playing that list, so Scald and shit. And Game 1, he summons Lilith, and I immediately scoop it up. Game 2, I passed with him for many turns, not ever committing a monster so that he can't just slap down mine and keep it there. So he had to basically hold off on his metaverses, which is what I wanted to do so I could draw into my Denko, slam it down, and he'd be locked out. And ultimately what happened was I pop his Wave Motion Cannon and his Scald with 1 Twin Twisters, and then his second Scald I pop with Bigfoot because I was drawing to the point where I was discarding hands due to the end of turn rules, and one of those cards happened to be Bigfoot. And then the following turn, I summon Levineer and blow out his back row, and he just decided to scoop it up because there's like maybe, I don't know, 10 minutes left before time gets called, so he wanted to go into Game 3 and potentially like cheese me with some burn. I don't know, because what happens is Game 3, he uses Extravagance, he sets 5, passes, has nothing on my draw and standby phase, so I just normal summon Denko and I win. The next round, I'm up against Orcust, and I know I'm against Orcust because it was one of the players that Mega Monkey said he played in the mirror beforehand, so I knew who it was. I won the die roll, I do my combo, I summon Sandophon as part of the combo, and he can't break my board. Game 2, he does Orcust combo, he ashes my Phantasme, and I can't break his board. Game 3, I open with my combo, he has a hand trap for it, but I'm able to power through it. He doesn't have Lancia, which is the big part. And what happens is, as I'm comboing, I'm able, through Diabolos and Levineer, able to hit both of his Kaijus out of his hand. So I end my turn with my decent Thunder Dragon board to his 2-card hand. He draws for turn, and it's Lancia, and he scoops up because he can't break through my board. The round after that, no wait, that was my round 5. My round 4 was actually against Lost World Dinosaurs, my bad. Game 1, I brick, and I can't do anything. Game 2, I open with a combo, and he can't do anything. Oh, no, wait. I open actually with a pretty weak hand. I'm just able to make a Colossus and pass, but because his hand is all search cards, he can't do anything about that. And in Game 3, he T-sets, and I kill him. And then we have my Orcust match. And then in round 6, I'm up against Mind Striker, and I 2-0 that one. Like, Game 1, he doesn't have a very good start for Striker, and so I just blow through his board and win. And then Game 2, he has a much stronger start with like multiple anchors, and he's got the Metaverse for Mystic Mine for when I start breaking his board, but I have Twin Twisters and Bigfoot, so I just clear his back row, and I'm able to set up a board state in which I've got Thunder Dragon Colossus and a Titanic Galaxy up here, and he can't break through it. And when he tries to like do Hayate, that's when I do the redirect into this guy, and he's like, okay, like he scoops because I'm at 9,000 life points because he upstarted, and he's down to like 4,000 life points, and there's maybe about 5 minutes left, and Striker just, I don't think Striker would have been able to get over that hurdle with that much time left. And then the last round was up against Orcust. It was actually against my friend Nikolai, who got 6th place. The profile's up on the channel. And what happened was, I won the die roll, and I know he was playing Orcust, so game 1, I do Thunder Dragon combo, I end with Sandalphon. He can't break it. Game 2, he's got the Orcust combo, and he's able to get even the better combo. So he has the Field Spell, the Counter Trap, 2 Fog Blades, and the live Dingirisu. So he has 5 interactions from my turn, and I can't break through that. Game 3, he opens with Lancia on my first turn, but he isn't able to capitalize it, and so I'm able to try and combo again on the next turn, in which he is able to use both Infinite Impermanence and Droll and Lockbird on my Saryuja, and that stops most of my combo. Like, I'm able to end with a Saryuja and a Colossus, and he has to set after that because he wasn't able to combo, and I kill him through that because I draw a Tsuchinoko. I think I had a Tsuchinoko. All I know is, like, I'm able to, like, kill his board, or what he had left of a board, and he concedes. And I ended up, yeah, that was last round, so I ended up finishing 3rd place, and it was with a deck that I truly enjoy playing, Thunder Dragons. Like, if there was ever a deck that was any more me, it would be this deck. And I'm really happy I finally got a top after, like, 6 years. Like, it had been a long time since I finally got a top. This is top number 4, and ironically enough, all my tops have been with some variation of dragons. It's just either been Disaster Dragon, Dragunity, Blue Eyes Rulers, and this. So I'm really happy I finally managed to, like, break this the drought, and who knows, maybe I can get another top sometime soon. It would be nice, especially for the Rising Rampage one, because I'll try and go to that one. Probably be playing Orcust for that one, but we'll find out. And that's pretty much it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the deck list and the overall notes that I had for this. As far as, like, some shoutouts I'd give, shoutouts to the Regina crew for all of us going, like, 2 of us were able to get the top. The rest, all of top 4 was actually Saskatchewan, which is funny enough. 2 from Regina and 2 from Saskatoon. One of the Regina players was Evan, who his Mystic Mind deck is up on the channel. Shoutouts to Galaxy Comics and Fusion Gaming for hosting the regionals, and to the Winnipeg crew for having us there. And shoutouts to the channel Super Team Buddy Force Unite, I believe that's how it is. They did a profile of my deck at the venue, and I was definitely not, like, in the right mind as well. Like, you can definitely tell I was, like, tired and, like, worn out, because, like, I was just babbling for, like, part of the profile. But, like, thank you guys for shooting the profile, and I've already linked to their profile, their video of my deck, and I'll link to it again. So shoutouts to them, and that's pretty much it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Until next time, this is BlueStar899, jacking out.